Good morning, HubSpot Nation, LinkedIn friends. Welcome to a super special episode of Let's Build AI Skills. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Carolyn, founding pro at Profoundly.
I am Nico. I am a AI specialist over at Harvest ROI.
George B. Thomas, massive nerd at Sidekick Strategies.
And we have special guest, Sejal, product manager over at HubSpot. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for inviting me.
Our pleasure. Well, we can't be more excited. Just a little background for you. Before we came into this year, we were actually doing this show every single morning as we tried our best. I think we did a pretty good job of keeping up with AI. Mm-hmm. So we have been longing for things like this and theorizing, and I'd say we're probably the least surprised, but still mind blown by what we're about to talk about today. So thank you so much for joining us. What excites you most about seeing what's happening? Like, I mean, maybe specific to MCP, but also like with AI and HubSpot in general right now.
I think I'm blown away by people's reactions to just one release of MCP, and that's even in public beta. It's so exciting to see everybody jumping off their chair and seeing that and noticing it. And this is a good time for the HubSpot and generally AI in HubSpot. HubSpot is becoming an AI native platform, and its goal is to serve consumers and customers to be more productive with AI and innovation. So this is a step in that direction, and I'm eager to just see everybody what they come up with and how they use it. That was the main point of this beta, is just put it out there in customers and users' hands and see what magic they do with it and learn from that. And it's happening.
No, it definitely is. It's super exciting to me. I hate to back it up and start here because I know that you're going to get asked this question so much this year, but unfortunately, everybody asks. So if you could explain what model context protocol actually means.
I'll channel my inner Dhamesh. He is really, really good at explaining what MCP is and generally, breaking down concepts in easier form to explain. MCP, Model Context Protocol, is a common language, just like it's an HTTP of LLMs, or USB. Some people will say it's USB port, of hardware. It provides one single way of communicating with an agentic service or AI application for any external service. And because of the common language, both of them understand what each other are talking about, and they are way more productive. That's basically MCP. It's a protocol. And I mean, I haven't seen so many people excited about a protocol for the longest of the time. And that's so amazing to see that. That's what AI is bringing to everybody. It's like everybody is trying to learn, every single development and getting excited about it.
I think it's like protocol, yes, and like we're getting excited about like this just very granular thing. So it's so interesting to me because I'm trying to come at this from like the non-nerd level and like what it will kind of mean. But what I really want to tie back to is something you said at the beginning. The goal of this release was to get it in the hands of the humans to see what they could do with it. Like,
yes, in beta.
Yeah.
Yes. And let's see, to understand how they use it, to understand what problems they are solving in their everyday life. The goal of HubSpot releasing an MCP server in beta, and this server doesn't. Most people would find that it doesn't have everything they need, and that's kind of intentional because it's in beta. The goal is to like start something small and push it out, put it in hands of the customers in a more secure way, and understand how they use it. and learn from it and understand how they are taking HubSpot everywhere, how they are taking actions from their everyday tools, and even not forgetting HubSpot when they are doing that. So you are in your flow, you're doing something, and you remember HubSpot. You're able to access HubSpot wherever you are. So HubSpot everywhere is the goal with this release, and understand how people make it happen in their own world.
I'll shut up in a second, but I just want anybody who's viewing this or listening to this or however you're into like HubSpot everywhere. I want you to put that in your freaking cranium right now. HubSpot everywhere. Okay, I'll shut up.
Exactly. And like, I love when you talked about the common language, because what we always like to highlight, like a lot of the AI skills that we talk about, the mindset is like, surprise, the same things that you need to do with humans, like we also need to do with AI. So it should be no surprise to anybody that when two systems have a common language, it's easier for them to work together.
Yes.
I'm super interested in, and Nico and I have been going back and forth on this a lot because we're not developers by trade. But when I think about AI and its ability to cut through one of my favorite phrases, unnecessary complexity. And then I see what's happening with development and SaaS, and just like, why haven't, maybe we have, I just don't know what it's called or how you refer to it, but the inability for all of the SaaS space to be able to integrate easily, why haven't we had more standardized protocols to make that work better?
Anyway, I would say before AI, REST has been one of the standard protocol to talk for two systems to talk to each other. It's been a language, and I think it's still a language even with MCP. It can be wrapped around your existing APIs, and of course, it can do way more than that. It's powerful, but it can be wrapped around your existing APIs. So until MCP came along, it's not that the systems were not trying to integrate with other systems without MCP. They were trying, but they were trying their own ways. And they were trying their bespoke integrations using APIs and trying their own tool orchestrations with their LLMs. I think this protocol makes it easier so that there is a common language and everybody doesn't have to reinvent their wheels of AI integrations, and they can just have something off the shelf. Everybody eventually will, most companies will have MCP server. We're kind of one of the first one in CRM space, at least, as far as I know, and, ahead in the game, but eventually most SaaS companies would have it. And then that will be easier, just like every company has REST APIs today, right? So it's going to be there eventually from where I stand today, and it's going to make it easier for making AI integrations, because you can figure out by using MCP server of that company if you want to integrate with your agentic layer in your SaaS application.
Can we back up for a second and cover like a couple things again? I'm trying to, as nerdy as I am, I'm trying to be the non-nerd of this conversation. Can we talk about how this right now, like it's Claude and like what that means, and like just like maybe even some of the initial things to know, like setup stuff? Like, yes. All right, beautiful.
Yes. So MCP server that HubSpot released can be used by any application that supports MCP client. Now, that is when we talk about common language, MCP client is the one that understands the language that MCP server talks in. So today, the major client that most people have access to is Claude Desktop. And Cursor is also more technical users have Cursor access as well. And if you are more tech savvy, you can use OpenAI's Agent SDK and add a client there and have talk to the MCP servers. But most common client is Claude Desktop today that most people have access to. And that's where we are also starting with, because it's easier to get onboarded. It's easier to just plug that, plug HubSpot's MCP server with that. You need to create a private app access token and keep it to yourself, and then put it in Claude's JSON file, and the structure or the snippet can be copied from a documentation. but you copy it, you copy your access token, restart Claude Desktop, and then you're good to go. You get access to the Claude chat window. You see HubSpot's tools there, and you can pick and choose between the tools, and you can start talking to HubSpot. So it's easier now, and Claude has even made the UI very easier now. So it's easier to get started with HubSpot's MCP through that. And if one is a developer, I think John McLaren, our dev advocates, push out a video to show how it can be used with Cursor. One of the very simple use cases, like if you're using HubSpot's API and you want to create a fake JSON payload for contact, you can easily create it with MCP server. You don't have to just handcraft your JSON anymore. You can use Cursor and you can use HubSpot's MCP server to get a lot of that done. So there are some use cases like that, but with Claude Desktop is easier to get started. Most people have access to it. Even the free version supports some way or some limited access to MCP, playing with MCP servers.
And
you hit on something.
We got a great question here, Nico, that I wanted to address anyways, but Casey brought it up. Do you need to have the Claude or ChatGPT integration added to HubSpot to utilize the new MCP beta?
No, you don't. You need to have access to Claude, and you need to have HubSpot's API key. Yes, you need that, and that is it. You don't have to add an integration on the other way around in HubSpot to get started with MCP in this case. It's mostly bringing HubSpot into Claude and into your chat client, which is Claude right now.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to see this happen from scratch, Nico and I are going to be going live tomorrow at 9:30 Central, because I've actually done MCPs a few times, from not having any kind of code software on my computer and just asking Claude how to do it. That's exactly what we're going to do tomorrow, starting from scratch, and just see how many use cases that we can build out tomorrow. And I've been doing some data modeling and planning for that, because that's usually where I start anything HubSpot. It's like, what is the data model going to look like? And I ran into this morning because I was trying so hard to have HubSpot, the trigger come from HubSpot workflows. And I was asking the questions like, can I use the HubSpot integration with Claude to then trigger Claude to do MCP stuff? And it made it very clear that the integration for workflows, the Ask Anthropic beta is working with the console and API access to Claude, which is something completely different from MCP. And currently they don't talk to each other.
Did you mean to say HubSpot workflows, Chris? Or
what's that?
Did you mean HubSpot workflows?
Yeah. So the idea was to say, trigger a workflow off of a task completion, and then ask Anthropic to say, okay, this is ready. Now give me the daily report of all my stuff, which is, I already have an executive assistant set up to do that. And apparently just going over to say good morning is too hard for me. So I'm trying to set up a daily task that's just recurring, and then it would trigger Claude to go through this MCP workflow, and then add that output to HubSpot on a note or something like that. So almost there, but since the systems don't talk to each other at the moment, not going to go that route. But it was very educational in terms of understanding the differences between the two.
Yes. Yeah.
One of the things that you touched on that I can't let go is that the protocol allows for people to do more than just access HubSpot, right? It allows them to take that data and service it pretty much anywhere they want to. And one of the top terms that's used nowadays for most software developers is wrappers, because they're just building a wrapper around whatever's underlying, right? And a project that I've already gotten started on since the release, because it just made things that much easier, was the thought of, well, why not just talk to your CRM And sure enough, you're doing that by chatting with it through Claude, but even being able to verbalize it, right? So like you said, using the GPT SDK, setting that up with an agent, using Whisper, and then being able to actually verbally have a conversation with your CRM and sort of giving your CRM a voice per se.
Wow.
Can we look forward to Dharmesh's voice being HubSpot's official?
I would pass it on.
I hope so. I'm looking forward. Like, that's what popped into my mind. So when you say that people in the community are going crazy, I think it's definitely a lot of people who are thinking about the future, thinking about where this could lead, right? This whole new road, this whole new highway now that's open with what we can do. And some of the things that we've been talking about on this show that I thought weren't going to really surface until later this year seems like it might be something that might pop up this summer, maybe even for inbound. And yeah, I'm just seeing a whole different realm of CRM interaction happening with this, more so than just, being able to surface the data in a different way like that. All of that is amazing too. I'm not trying to knock any of that, but just changing like something that we've been doing forever, which is visually one-on-one, have to be on my laptop, have to be there to communicate with my CRM, have to be there to interact with it. And one of the examples I put out yesterday was how if somebody wanted to, they could just verbally tell their agent, hey, just had a call with so-and-so. Can you log the note for me? Check my calendar for tomorrow. If I'm good, set up a meeting for me and let me know when it's all set and good. And forget about it. Go get a cup of coffee, whatever. And meanwhile, it's all done in the background for you.
Yes. And that's exactly the power of MCP is just, yes, you can view your CRM data. You can make sense of your CRM data. That stuff is all there for you, but you can start taking your actions inside CRM. Like you can start creating notes. You can start having tasks created. You can start continue prospecting while you are on your fingertips with Claude Desktop. So that's the main power. It's like you can continue where you are, but then when you are in HubSpot, you pick up where you left off. So you are always there, and your HubSpot is always available to you. And it's just the main thing is like taking action is what makes me more excited about it. One of the thing that I have been playing around with Claude is simple thing is like a lot of us have been travel planning and using Claude or ChatGPT. It's like, yeah, I'm going somewhere, but hey, I have like maybe 2 hours to squeeze in a meeting with a customer. Go to my CRM and suggest me which is the most burning customer I should contact while I'm in, say, Toronto, and suggest me, tell me more about them from my CRM, and then start creating a note for me from there. Start creating a follow-up task for me, remind me about it. So while I'm doing my personal work at that time, and like I got a reminder of something in HubSpot. It's like I can do it in my flow. So I'm not getting out of my flow and doing something. So that seems way more powerful than just viewing your data from CRM. It's like you can continue using your CRM in a more meaningful way.
Well, I certainly hope that the dev team on the back end is listening and now has the ultimate answer as to what will make HubSpot's mobile app take over the entire ecosystem.
Yeah, and just need to highlight, this is part of the beautiful thing that's happening right now. Yes, we may have been seen as crazy, but now we are looking pretty smart at times as we figure out how to use this stuff very quickly. And that's what's fun for me and us while we do this show, and others who've been joining us for a while. Like, the best part about AI is it's never going to be worse than it is right now. Everything we learn right now builds on itself. So as we've been building all these skills related to all the separate tools, as they come together, it does not take long to figure out how to bring them together. So I'd love, Nico, for you to show a couple of the things that you were doing. Make good on this promise of unboxing a little bit.
Wow.
You're muted, George. When can AI solve that?
Yeah. When can AI unmute me when I just open my mouth? While he's bringing that up, can I ask a question? When you guys set this up, well, first of all, Nico, I think you're Mac, right? Or PC? Mac? PC. When you go into, and this is going to get nerdy, but when you go into the like app data / Claude folder, there, do you have to create like the Claude desktop config, or do you use the config that's already there to like give it information, the config.json that's already there?
Yep.
By the way,
Yeah,
I did it on purpose because some people are watching this going, say who, what, where? Listen, here's what's
Ask
fun.
Claude.
I just
ask Claude.
Just ask Claude.
And I asked Claude, like, hey, by the way, I went over to the knowledge base, right? The product launch. And I said, here's this. And I clicked on the link over on that. And I said, and here's this. Now, Claude, tell me how to hook up my HubSpot and my Claude desktop. And so it gave me the instructions. But then I'm in this place and I go, most mere mortal humans are going to see that Claude tells them, configure or create this. And I'm looking at something that says almost that, to which is why I asked the question, just use the config file or actually build something. There you go. Go ahead, Nico.
Yeah, and easiest way to do it is just Claude has a settings option. If you go in that settings, it just says edit config and it brings up the file for you, the right file. You don't even have to worry about going to the file.
Yep.
So this is just a super quick example of something that I was just had mentioned to you in terms of the being able to have a call with somebody. So here the prompt is, just met with a client. They work at this company. They said that they wanted to meet tomorrow. So log the call that we had. Here's the title. Here's what the note should be. And then go take a look at the calendar and see if I've got schedule open for tomorrow. And if you do, schedule the meeting for tomorrow. And to me, I mean, this video, this is real time now. This video is a minute long. So after one prompt, it took 1 minute for Claude to go in, search through, find out. First of all, it knows who I am. I don't even have to tell it like, hey, I'm Nico, blah, blah, blah. It knows because of like, it knows who I am on the desktop version. So it knows my name. So then it goes and starts looking for me within the CRM, finds me, starts going and looking through all my records. You know, not only did it do what I needed it to in terms of like adding the note and everything, it also updated a property, updated her job title because I asked it to update the job title on there too, right? So log the call, updated job title, checked calendar, added meeting. And then of course you have your partner up with Breeze that can give you the rundown, right?
Wait. Yes, you are free at 3. Like,
welcome.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's a whole, saying that it's a whole new world is like, it's such an understatement at this point. I don't quite know how else to put it. This one is one of my favorites. So this is after that meeting with the client, or before the meeting with the client. I forgot. Turns out that they're having huge issues with their SLAs and they need a lot of help with that. So what I asked Claude to do is go take a look online and familiarize itself with their company so that it has an understanding of like what the client's company does to begin with, right? Because there's nothing worse than trying to ask somebody for help and they have no context about what you're talking about in the first place. Then I asked it to make sure you go and take a look at sentiment from various social sources and find out what people are saying about the particular industry, the company, their space, and everything all together. So now I have this like really concise understanding. All right, cool. Now diagram out that SLA process so that I can bring it with me to the meeting. So Claude's about to make something that's super amazing for most people, but doesn't really, like, you can't really bring it with you necessarily. It's an awesome React module that if you weren't a salesperson, you'd throw up on the web and then you'd show it to your client and be like, look. So it's kind of useful to us. It looks really awesome. Definitely gives us the information we want. But again, if you know just a little bit more, you can say, all right, translate this into Mermaid. And it didn't come out right the first time. It's okay if you have to prompt it twice. It's not the end of the world.
Now, can you explain to people what Mermaid is?
So Mermaid is a coding language that's, well, I can't even say a coding language. That's kind of that's lying. It's a scripting language at best, or markup, and it essentially tells it tells plotting and diagramming software where things are supposed to be, what they're supposed to be, labels and all that. So because that's what the underlying construct is for diagramming software, and because it's code, Claude can write it. So whatever you can verbally say, Claude can put it into a visual for you. And then you can just grab that, go over to something like Lucidchart.
Wow.
And now all of a sudden, I think real time. So like this one is, I mean, like a minute long. I think real time, they took like, I don't know, maybe, I mean, at most, I think one of them took like 3 minutes.
Crazy.
Right?
It's crazy, and it can orchestrate between Google Calendar. I saw you were using Google Calendar and HubSpot MCP together. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, is the limitations. You know, Claude can already integrate with your Google Calendar, your Gmail, and your Drive. So you can have it check your daily plan and put that together for you. And now you can have that connected to your HubSpot. So you already have, not, you know, I get it. Like the connectivity is what it is. You already have like your email and your HubSpot connected, and that's cool. And that's wonderful, because at least the information exists in both places, regardless of where you query. But now you have this ability to actually query even if something's missing. So let's say that you have a meeting with one of your clients and it's not the usual, and you forgot to send the follow-up or whatever it might be, and you sent this offshoot email from another account, but you don't remember whatever it is. Well, now you have this ability to like go grab it, and without even having to manually go search for it, find it, you just ask Claude, like, hey, did I forget to log this email? Cool. Can you add that as a note to the account? Awesome. Thanks.
Can I ask a question? And dang it if we're not running out of time, but we knew this was going to happen. So like, are you saying once I get this connected, I would have the ability to go into Claude and do something like this? And by the way, let me set this up. After every meeting I have with my clients, I have the Avoma integration, which then adds a note to the contact record. Could I go into Claude and say, hey, look at this human over the last 6 months of notes that we've put in there, and give me your thoughts on how they feel about the services that we're providing and the tasks that we've completed. And it's going to be able to give me like a roll up, almost like an NPS style, but in a very, I want to say human, but it's a robot, dang on it, but a very delivered way.
I'll give you a teaser to a video that's dropping today. Go in and take a look at my top sales reps most recently closed deals for the last quarter. Who is the leading industry that they're going after? Look at the top 3 industries. How well have they performed with that industry historically? Where are they seeing trouble with their industries? Let's build a 90-day roadmap to help them overcome their struggles in that area.
Oh, man.
Can't wait for it.
Oh, so
and then that roadmap comes out as a mermaid that you take into Lucid and turn into a Gantt chart.
Wow.
As we wrap up, Sejal, if you could give one piece of advice to the HubSpot admin or owner of the HubSpot portal that might be feeling a little uneasy or unsure of what's happening this year and what the rest of the year is going to look like, what is one piece of advice you can give them to kind of help them overcome some fears maybe and jump in and try some stuff?
I would say go play around with every AI feature that HubSpot is releasing in your accounts, and there's no harm in playing around. A lot of features, like even MCP server is in beta. We have baked in some of the guardrails. You can't delete your records, for example. There are no tools available to delete records. You can't schedule meeting with your customers. So it is somewhat safe to play around. It's in beta still, but that will give you a lot of confidence in what AI has to offer and what AI inside HubSpot has to offer. We have customer agent, prospecting agent inside HubSpot, brief summaries, brief intelligent, and MCP server. Everything is there for you if you are a HubSpot customer and admin, and you can start getting hands on it and just exploring it and give us feedback about it. And we are always improving. We are moving fast, by the way, so we are always improving and moving fast. I want to leave just one PSA for the last is feedback. This release is a beta release, and the main intention is to learn, and that will happen if you talk to us with feedback. So go to developer.hubspot.com/MCP for leaving feedback. If whatever you talk, it just reaches our inbox directly. So if you want to reach out to us, that's the best way to reach out to us. So don't forget about feedback.
Yes. One thing we love about HubSpot, very responsive to the feedback. So don't hesitate, people. And as you're playing around with all these tools, please find the opportunities and let's grow. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you so much, Sejal.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here.